Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmadoo.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Today, we're going to look at the newest legendary duelist that's appeared in Duel World, and that's Dr. Valiant Crowler. And what I want to do today is look through the level 40 rewards that you can get from dueling Dr. Crowler at level 40, and then also just going through just some simple methods for you to just go ahead and farm Dr. Crowler to the best of your ability. Seems like the drop rates are a little low right now, but you should be able to obtain a majority of what you need for a decent deck if you're going to try to run an Ancient Gear deck. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into some of the cards first at level 40. The first one is one of the non-Ancient Gear monsters that you can get, but it's still a really good one. It's Eames the Infinity. It's a level 7 machine, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Each time this card destroys an opponent's monster and sends it to the graveyard as a result of battle, increase the attack of this card by 700 points. So this card's really good, but with a lot of the protection-based stuff, like with Cyber Angels and how they're not really getting destroyed because of the Cyber Angel Ritual card, you wouldn't necessarily be sending the monster to the graveyard, so the effect then wouldn't take effect. It's very specific. As long as you know that you can guarantee that you're going to be sending that monster to the graveyard after battle, this effect is really, really good. And yeah, this one is you could also get as you make your way through the event points. So if you're not lucky with the drops, you'll at least be getting one copy of this card through the event. So far, I've only gotten this dropped once. Then you got a copy of Ancient Gear Engineer. It's a level 5 machine, 1500 attack, 1500 defense. Negate any trap effects that target this card, and if you do, destroy that trap card. Kind of similar to Tyrant Dragon, if you think about it. Then, if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy that target. With the current meta right now and how everybody is so focused on back row, this is a really good card. Unfortunately, it's kind of lacking in the attack and defense department, so at 1500 attack and defense, the card is, it leaves a lot to be desired. Nothing that a Metalmorph can't fix, and nothing that having, one of those Ancient Gear castles on the field will at least boost its attack to 1800. So, not the worst thing in the world, but you really got to have a perfect play to make this as effective as possible. So, yeah, Ancient Gear Engineer could be good, but I don't necessarily run that in my deck right now. But this is a card that maybe could have some play down the road too. Then you got Ancient Gear Knight, level 4 machine, Gemini monster, 1800 attack, 500 defense. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is a normal monster on the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with the following effect. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. So Ancient Gear Knight is really good if you could get that Gemini effect activated. This does make Gemini decks in general a little bit more viable. If you throw a few copies of this card in there, you're able to obtain an additional copy using your EX jewels if you go to the card trader, if you really can't wait and try and farm to get 3 copies. And then you're also able to get an additional copy after you unlock Dr. Crowler, all the way at level 38, which is, I think, somewhere around there, 37, 38, you're able to get another copy of Ancient Gear Knight. So, worst case scenario, if you have absolutely no luck in getting a single Ancient Gear Knight, you're at least pretty much guaranteed 2, as long as you spend the EX jewels on the first Ancient Gear Knight, and then you just level up Dr. Crowler to get that second one. But I doubt you're only going to get a big goose egg after going through and farming Dr. Crowler for so many points. So, that shouldn't be that much of an issue, but there are other ways to get this card, not just by trying to farm Dr. Crowler. So, same thing with this next card. This is another unlockable card as you level up Dr. Crowler. It's Ancient Gear Fist. It's an equip spell card where you equip only to an Ancient Gear monster. At the end of the damage step, if the equipped monster battled a monster and is still on the field, destroy the monster it battled. So, if this monster's trying to get over a, say for example, a Cyber Angel monster, where you know that you have the upper hand with attack, you're going to run over that monster, but it's going to activate that Cyber Angel ritual in the graveyard to keep it on the field, then I think Ancient Gear Fist should activate, and should be able to destroy the monster as well. So not exactly sure if that's how the chain is going to work, but it's worth a shot. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty good for some of those monsters that maybe can't be destroyed by battle either. Your Unhappy Girl or something along those lines. Ancient Gear Fish should take care of that because it's a spell effect and it's not being destroyed by battle. So this is just another good addition if the meta starts to change with monsters that can't be destroyed. So yeah, another good one. Then you got Ancient Gear Workshop. I've only got one copy of this so far, but this is another card that you could get through EX Jewels from the card trader. Now, Ancient Gear Workshop allows you to add one Ancient Gear monster in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. So this card works out really great with the Ancient Gear box. If that's in your graveyard, you add it back to your hand because it's not being drawn. Then you're able to search out another card with 500 or less defense, and you're able to basically bring back out your Ancient Gear Knight from your deck. So that's a pretty good combo as well. The Ancient Gear box is only going to be limited to one because that's all you can get from leveling up Dr. Crowler. And that's somewhere, I think, around level 25, somewhere in that ballpark range. You could get that Ancient Gear box. I don't really have a use for it right now, but it does combo out really well with Ancient Gear Workshop, so that's one of the good ones. The next card, as we're getting into the rares, is probably one of the better cards out of this set. I'm kind of surprised that this wasn't a super rare. This is just a rare, but it's Ancient Gear Beast. It's a level 6 machine, 2,000 attack, 2,000 defense. It cannot be special summoned. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step, but it gets better. Negate the effects of an opponent's monster destroyed by battle with this card, including in the graveyard. So even though an effect like Kid Mono Dragon could activate its effect from the graveyard, after you destroy it, it's not going to activate. It's negated. Same thing with all those Man-Eater bugs or DD Warriors or anything like that. Your Ancient Gear Beast can run them over and their effects will not activate, which is awesome. So take that, Hane. I'm sick of you sending cards back to my hand. Ancient Gear Beast is the best way around it. And then you got Ancient Gear Soldier, level 4 machine, 1,300 attack, 1,300 defense. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. It's a really good effect, but very low attack and defense. If you got Ancient Gear Castle on the field, though, it's got a 1,600 attack, so you could probably counter this out with maybe an equip card or two and hopefully boost its attack. And then you got Ancient Gear Factory. It's a spell card where you reveal one level 5 or higher Ancient Gear monster from your hand. Then banish a number of Ancient Gear monsters from your graveyard whose combined levels are double the revealed monsters. And if you do, you normal summon the revealed monster this turn. You must normal summon it without tributing. So basically what you could do is if you have about 12 levels worth of monsters in your graveyard. So say if you got 3 copies of Ancient Gear Knight sitting in your graveyard, that adds up to 12. You can end up showing your Ancient Gear Beast in your hand, which is level 6. So then you banish the monsters whose levels are double the Ancient Gear Beast. Then you could tribute, or you could summon without tributing for that monster. So it's a pretty good card, but it has to be very specific. You have to have a lot of resources in your graveyard for this effect to really be effective. So you may or may not want to run it. Then you got Ancient Gear Drill, spell card where if you control an Ancient Gear monster, discard one card and set one spell card directly from your deck. This turn, that spell card cannot be activated. So what I would do with this card is, if I have another Ancient Gear Castle in my deck, which you are able to unlock through Dr. Crowler as you level up, it's pretty early on too. I think it's probably around level 15 or something like that. You're able to get that second copy. I would search it out, set it, and then activate it during the next turn before you tribute another monster. So that is a really good card. And again too, this really nice thing about Ancient Gear Drill is that you could set any spell card directly from your deck. So even if you want something like a Forbidden Chalice, or if you want something like an enemy controller, you could set those as well from discarding a card. So Ancient Gear Drill could be a very underrated card for right now, but can be very effective down the road. And then finally, you got Statue of the Wicked. It's a trap card where when this face-down card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, special summon one Wicked token. Fiend type Dark, level 4, attack 1,000, defense 1,000 on your side of the field. Seeing as there's a lot of back row destruction right now, this card's effect will more likely be activated at this point. But then again, it could be stuck there on lockdown if they got the Sergeant Electro or anything like that. So, it just depends on what kind of decks you're going against. But this card is not so bad. I think when I first started playing this TCG, I had a super rare copy of this one. So that was, a little nostalgic. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the level 40 cards that you could get from farming Dr. Crowler. And I just want to go over my general strategy that you could use to farm Dr. Crowler. You could go a few different methods, but I mean the classic Gravekeeper's Vassal with 2 or 3 Union attacks if you want to run those in your deck. But the whole point is that as early on as possible, you want to get a very strong fusion monster, a very strong monster on the field. My go-to is always Master of Oz. You're able to get that out of the Chaotic Compliance box set, if I remember correctly. But yeah, having that card on the field is basically stronger than just about any situation. The only situation where you could potentially lose out on your on your Master of Oz is if Dr. Crowler has Ancient Gear Golem on the field with the Equip Spell card that boosts it by 600 attack, and then also having another Ancient Gear Castle on the field and having your Master of Oz in defense position. That is the only scenario where they're going to really be able to get over your monster. So basically the one thing that you want to watch out for while you're farming Dr. Crowler is the trap card. He runs 2 copies of this trap card, and it switches all face-up monsters' positions on the field. So everything that's in attack will be switched to defense, everything in defense will be switched to attack, and that's used twice. So that's why every turn I'll try to attack into a defense position monster just to see if I could trigger the trap card. Because again, this could be activated before the battle phase too, so just try and trigger the trap card. That way you can set yourself up for that final play, get your Vassal out there, swing for a ton of life points from a direct attack, and you can just go from there. So that's basically just my general farming method. It works out a majority of the time. Yeah, if you get a brick hand, nothing you can do about it, just try again. But running Restart also helps with that. So yeah, that's just kind of my thought process on how to farm Dr. Crowler at level 40. Pretty straightforward. But anyway, that's pretty much it. These cards are really good. I'll get into an actual deck build that I've done with Ancient Gears. I'll get into that a little later. But if you have your own things that you want to add, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.